What's up, my beautiful church family? Do me a favor, turn to your neighbor and say, yes, you are beautiful. Can you do that? You're beautiful. Guys, you picked such a great week to be in church. Every week's a great week to be in church, but this one is going to be a great week. I get the privilege to introduce our special guest speaker who, for the very first time, he's going to get to lock in here at our Sevierville campus, our South Knoxville campus, and our Greensboro campus. He has been a lifelong mentor of mine. Javon and I got to know Dan and Jane over 28 years ago, and he's poured so much life into me. And I'm so excited that he can be at church this week and he can bring the message. And I really wanted him to tackle once again marriage and our home, because our home life is the battleground today. And I just really wanted Pastor Dan to breathe life into our marriages and our home. Do me a favor, pray for me and pray for our team. We are away preparing, how can I put it this way, for a Christmas series that we will never forget. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. But as we prepare, I miss you guys like crazy, but you are in great hands today. So do me a favor, Sevierville campus, South Knoxville campus, and our Greensboro church family, can everybody put their hands together for my friend, Pastor Dan Seaborn.
Bless you. Thank you. That's kind. That's so kind. And this is my first time to be able to greet live South Knoxville and also Greensboro. And so I'm honored to be with you. Jane and I have been here this week. My wife, Jane, she'll be in second service. She's over packing things up because we'll fly out today. But we've had a great time being here again. And I just thank you. I love to serve underneath Pastor Brent, Giovanna, and our lives are dedicated just to bring in glory and honor to the Lord, and I want to come and do that today. This message is going to be a little bit different. As I was just standing there, I looked around, and I saw some of you crying already this morning, just singing those worship songs, Let All Things Rise. Probably some of you are dealing with something that you go, man, I need to bring this issue to the Lord. Maybe today you're doing great, and you're not having any issues. Well, I can just tell you life is life, and we all go through struggles and trials. And today, as I talk about that, I'm hoping you will leave here with one thing in your mind, and that is this. I'm going to tell you the end of this message, and then we're going to figure out how to get there. But here's what I want you to leave today believing: that God created you to bring honor and glory to His name, and that your life is valuable and you have purpose. That's it. Most of us would say, well, of course I have purpose, but sometimes we get what I call derailed from that purpose. Life, marriage issues, family issues, work issues, just stuff out there derails us. But maybe today you're feeling like this. I don't know if you've ever done this before. When you get home, try it out. It's kind of cool. If you take a cup of water and you pour the other cup of water, just keep filling all the way to the very top. Now you'd say that glass is full. But there's another level of full. I don't know if you've ever done this, but you can actually pour the water until it's above the top of the glass. Oh, out of water. You can pour the water until it's above the top of the glass. Right here. Keep going. Oh, look at it. There's a little bubble of water, actually above the very lid of the glass. It sits up there right before it spills over. There's a little extra bubble. That word to describe, there's a word for this. Y'all don't know it. Y'all go, really full. That's not the word. It's not really full. This glass is, and it's a word, it's called Perusian. That's what that means. So tomorrow at work, if you go up, fill a glass and say to somebody, you know what that is? You can put money on this because they're not going to know this word. It's called Perusian. When you are full to overflow, you have plenty. Some of you might be there this morning. But I want to compare that Perusian moment in your life to the other side of that story, and I'll get at it this way. My daughter has a car that leaks oil, and I'm talking about it leaks a lot of oil. Enough that I don't even let her park in the driveway. I'll be like, baby, you park out on the street because I don't want to clean that up every time you leave. It drips that much. And she has a light in her car, a sensor in her car, that when it gets down to exactly 1 quart low, this light comes on, her car will go beep, beep, beep. In fact, she called me this weekend. She called me and said, hey, Dad, my car's doing that thing again. I said, just means you need a quart of oil. Go get a quart of oil and pour it in the car. You'll be fine. That's all it means. But when it's a quart low, it starts beeping. It knows I'm getting low. And some of you probably this morning, you didn't. You walk in beeping. You're not going, I'm not doing well. Beep, beep, beep. You didn't do that. We don't do that. Let me tell you one of the reasons we don't do that. You ready? Image is really important to us. Can I say something about your town? I love your town. But if you want to see what an important part image plays in this town, notice that y'all have billboards. Every one of them tries to tell me the previous billboard, that's a good show, but this one, unreal. Then I pass that one. That was nothing. You should see this. Number one. Somebody in the world once said it was number one, so it's number one show in all the world. I get it. But you know what those billboards are about? Image. I want to put something on here. I want to make you come. And so just understand, when you live around that, all of a sudden, without you, suddenly it can start to get on you that, well, I guess my image is important. So even though I might be a quart low today, and I can sense that my beepers are going off, I'm going to look good. I'm not going to let anybody know I'm struggling. Boy, I feel like you ever had this happen? You leave church and you knew you were beeping, the message helped you or whatever, but you left going, boy, it seemed like everybody else there was Perusian. They're family, they get along, they're going to lunch together. I don't even know where my kids are, and they're going to lunch together. Wow, they're going to lunch together. I almost said the name of a restaurant. But it's so easy when you're here to wonder what it's like to be there. And so this morning, very simply, I want to show you something. In Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, the verse I chose for my life way back years ago is right there. Many of you know the verse that says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. You know that verse. Today, I want you to know, I'm almost 60 years old, 59 and a half, okay? I'll be 60 this year. And I've discovered that Philippians 4:12 should have been what I picked for my life verse. I picked 4:13. I probably should have picked 4:12. Philippians 4:12 says this, I know how to live on almost nothing, beep, 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 or with everything, Perusian. Paul said, I have lived here and I have lived here. And by the way, he was writing this in a jail with chains on, huddled in a corner. He had no idea we'd be reading this in 2019. He said, I know how to live on almost nothing or with everything. You get ready. I have learned the secret of contentment in, ready, next word, every situation. It doesn't say, I've learned the secret of contentment in most situations. It doesn't say that. Every. In other words, in this room today, and those of you in South Knoxville, those of you in Greensboro, there's not a situation that any of you are going through that God goes, I'm not going to be able to help you there. Now, you feel that way. And if you came up and talked with me and you told me your story this morning, I'd pray for you, I'd say stuff, but I got to tell you, I might walk away going, that's a toughie. I don't see any way out of that one. Here's the reason. Because every situation we're in, we think we know how to get from here to there. Like if you're beeping today, I know what it would mean for me to get there. So God, if you'll just do what I'm needing you to do, hear a lot of I in there. In other words, if I want to go from here to Perusian, I think I know the best way to get there. Jane and I fly down here 2 or 3 times a year. We always go the same way. We go to Grand Rapids, we drive our car there, we park at the airport, we get in a plane, we fly to Knoxville, usually through Detroit or Atlanta, and we get in Knoxville, we rent a car. By the way, you guys have a big convention or something going on here, so they were out of cars. So they said, all we got left is a Ford Mustang. Not a problem. They said that we'll give it to you at the cheapest price. Perfect. I usually use about, a quarter tank of gas when I come here. Full tank. We burned that baby up this week. I went to the flea market. People were like your car. I'm like, thanks a lot. Rental. It's like driving a rental. But I go the same way. I go through Detroit, Atlanta, or Detroit or Atlanta, and then I come here to Knoxville. Land at Knoxville, rent that car, drive to Pathways. That's how I get here every time. If somebody said to me, hey man, how do you get from your house to this house? I know the way. Problem is, there's probably 100 ways to get here, but I only know one. Some of you in your situation you're in your life right now, you're here and you're a teenager, and you got situations you're dealing with, your parents don't even know right now, and you go, there ain't no way out of this, and I got nobody to talk to. Thankfully, you have now a place you can go, the hangar, and there are adults there who care for you, and even other students who will care for you. But I don't want you to think there's no way out of it, because I want you to tell you I want to show you what I've discovered in my life, okay? I had a few things I struggle with, and I saw the way to get through them. Go from there to here. I know how to do it, God, but what you got to do, God, hear that? What you got to do, God, is work with me here and do it my way. And God's like, my ways are so much higher than your ways, Dan. You're looking at that so human. I got another way to get you there. And sometimes the way he takes me is he puts me in this situation here. I didn't even know there was a stage here, Lord. Yeah, but get on that and do that for me. Do that's where. And now I'm going to take you another little path. You've never been this path, Dan. Yeah, go behind the wall. I know you don't see what's back there, but I got you. But it's dark. I got you. But I don't know what I'm stepping into. Go on and step in. Okay. And sometimes it feels like we're out of sight, doesn't it? And it's in these places where God does his deepest work. Because his way for me to grow might not be from here to there the way, oh, I know how to get over there. I'll walk right over there. And God goes, no, there's another path. And some of you are going through something right now where you're back there in the dark. You don't even know why you're in the dark. You don't even get what was the reason to go in there. I would say to you, whatever spot you're in today, be teachable. Your life isn't about you. It's bringing purpose and glory to the Lord. You guys have known my story. You know my story with my daughter Anna, who was wayward for 5 years. I've shared it. I publicly talk about it. I've had people, I'm kind of a public guy, I do that stuff. I've had people come up to me and say they're disappointed I share that story out loud. And I just look at them and I say, I'm sorry you're disappointed, but I believe the Lord has used what I've struggled with and what I've gone through to bring glory and honor to his name. His story is not about me. The story is about the redeeming love of God. Some of you are in a situation today where you need to experience the redeeming glory and power of God Almighty because you're beeping and you don't know how to get here to there. You might be here today and it's your faith that's beeping. A young man last night after the service, I bet he was 15, came up to me. Pastor, will you pray for me? I love Jesus, but I'm beeping. I said to him, dude, you're probably why I was here this weekend. I love that. I love it. Just humility going, I ain't got all my stuff together. And there's another word you can put in there because we have all that stuff. I'm a pastor. I'm careful. But we all know what I'm talking about. And Jesus says, I can move you from here to here. And that 15-year-old, after I prayed with him last night, his life wasn't perfect, but I believe he walked out the exit doors believing God has a path here. And today, this message is about one thing, believing that you have purpose and value and that God's going to walk you in the path to get you where you need to be in any, and let me read the word again, every situation, whether it is with a full stomach, Perusian, or I'm hungry, right here. Plenty here, or in want here. Paul has got it covered. If you're there today, good job. God's got your situation. If you're here today, good job. God's got your situation. Then my life verse, for I can do everything who God, who asked me to come to him with Christ, who gives all power and all strength. I can do everything through God who strengthens me. Watch this. To believe that today, 3 things that got to happen. 3 things. Very simple message. You can write these down, ponder them later. The first one is this. You have to make sure your value and purpose is found in God and in God alone. I got a good friend right now. I'm going to do a lot of sitting while I preach this message because I feel like I'm just talking to y'all. South Knoxville, Greensboro, I'm just talking to y'all today. I got this friend. She texted me on the plane on the way here. Dan, I'm not doing well. I'm in the bathroom throwing up. I texted back, what's up? I know what's up. Her husband destroys her with his words. He just destroys her. He calls her names. He tells her she's worthless. So I text her back, what's up? And she told me, he just told me these things. And I texted back, do you believe them? You see, sometimes a person's word to you, what they say about you, some of you in a marriage where maybe you hear some harmful words, all of a sudden those words start to define you. You say, Dan, you seem to really know a lot what you're talking about. Oh, yeah. I've shared before, my dad's words defined me for years and years. They don't anymore. I went to see him the other day. He's got dementia in the nursing home, and he said this sentence to me. Dan, is there, because I travel around the country and preach, right? And he knows that. And he thinks I have to do that because none of y'all hire me to be a full-time pastor of the church. So he said it to me again the other day. We're riding in the car. I take him for little rides, and he goes, is there still not any church out there that'll have you? And that used to just tear me up inside. And now I go, you know what? I'm not going to believe that crap coming out of his mouth. He doesn't even see what he's saying. He's not trying to harm me with those words. He's wanting me to. But see, do you see what I'm saying here? He's trying to define what valuable is to me. Dan, you would be valuable if you could get a church that would keep you full time. That's not what God has for me. God says, Dan, that's your dad's comments and stuff. I have a purpose for you. You're going to travel around the country 2 or 3 times a year. You're going to go to a church called Pathways. This is what I purposed you for. You were made to do this. Guys, I get it. As I age, I'm getting close to the end. And I realize that God purposed me on this earth to preach his name and bring glory to his name. And I'm not going to let what anybody else says anymore define who I am. When God made me, when he created me, he put this purpose in me, and he put one in you too. You say, well, I don't go around the country and preach. You're not supposed to. You do what he purposed you for. He's your creator. He knows what that looks like. You say, but it's not a very big thing. There is no little thing in God's kingdom. I want to say something here. I'm not trying to do it to bring glory to my name, but I want to tell you, I got the sweetest letter last week in the mail. Sweetest letter, unsigned. Usually the not so sweet letters are unsigned. This one was unsigned from a lady. I could tell it was a lady's handwriting, and she made a lot of lady kind of statements, so I know it wasn't a guy. And she said to me, I just need to write you a letter and tell you something. I have my assistant reads it all first, so I just mentally can prepare what's the letter about. She goes, you're going to love it. So I read it. And the lady said, I need to tell you something. And she said, you don't know who I am? She said, the other day, she said, I know who you are. We were walking into a store at the same time. You were about even with me getting out of your cars, walking into a door. And she said, you started running ahead. And she said, you ran ahead and you opened the door. And she said, I looked back to see behind me who could be important that would make you run and open the door for him. And she said, there was nobody. It was just me. And she said, you have no idea what that meant to me as a person. Did y'all hear something? I don't know this lady. I don't remember saying, I don't remember where I was at. What's this? I opened a door. You ever thought about the fact that the little things you do could make someone feel like they matter to God? We so often equate And again, you live in a town where the people who are the stars are wow. I'm going to tell you something. You are a star in God's kingdom if you just simply sometimes open a door. Don't miss this. Your purpose and your value is not defined by how big you get and how strong you get and how popular you are. Last night I talked about how there are people in this town can take this stool and go do a handstand. I'm not going to try that. And we go, wow, that's awesome. And I would say to you, it is. It's one, I love to watch it. But that's a show. Your creator, y'all pass it every day, so y'all don't think about it. But when Jane and I arrive here and we hit that little main drag and we see that mountain out there, wow. Y'all know who made that mountain? Y'all see it every day, but we see it. Just trust me. We live near Lake Michigan. It's very flat. The lake is amazing. If you see it, you would go, wowie, wowie, wow. Because God's creation's all over. But watch this. The God who created that mountain, are you ready for this? He made you too. You're more valuable to him than that mountain. Somebody in here today doesn't feel valuable. Somebody sitting in South Knoxville, in Greensboro, you don't feel valuable. I want to tell you something. You're valuable, you ready? Because God made you. Done. You don't have to do one more thing. Just because God made you. You are his child. It's over. It's sealed. You matter. Boy, it's taken me a long time to figure that out for me, because so often and for so long I lived for what people said about me. Go back to when you were a teenager. Remember that? Those of you who are teens in here, I promise you it matters. You middle schoolers who are in here, it matters in the morning in your mind usually how your hair looks and what you wear. It matters a lot. And you find yourself at school, if somebody says, you have a shirt in your closet that you love. But one time, somebody, when you had that shirt on, went, you wear that? That shirt is doomed. You will not wear it again. It's true. Because of what someone said. You love it, but you're not going to wear it because of what someone said. Then watch this. Okay, that was 13, 14. Fast forward all the way up to 50. You 13-year-olds, let me tell you something about 50-year-olds. Same issues. There's some 50-year-olds got some shirts in their closet, didn't wear because somebody at church went, that's nice. I saw one of those before at a flea market. And you go, I'm not wearing flea market stuff. We're people. And Satan knows if he can distract us and make us feel like we don't matter, we're not important. It's my friend I'm texting on the way here. Her husband's words are defining her. My words, all I say to her is, who made you? Put her name. She's like, I know, Pastor Dan. I'm like, well, who made you? God made me. And I want to tell you today, if I leave here this morning and somebody here walks out of this room and you say to yourself, I matter because I'm God's kid, then this message was successful. But if you're going to be God's kid, number 2, you got to spend time with him. Now, there's several hundred people here in the room this morning, probably hundreds watching through South Knoxville and Greensboro. Let me say this. When I say spend time with God, you already defined what that looks like. In fact, some of you thought, well, I sure fail at that. Here's why. I'm going to ask you to retrain your brain a little bit when it comes to spending time with God. For many of us, spending time with God means doing this, being at church on Sunday morning. Check it off. I did it. Spent time with God. Had my devotions. Dan, I was up this morning, 4 o'clock. Did my devotions. Spent my time with God. God bless you. That's awesome. I don't get up at 4 and do my devotions. In fact, I use it. Sometimes I don't think God's awake at 4 in the morning. I just don't get it. I can't think clear at 4 in the morning. I'm a lot more midnight. Midnight, no problem. I can spend time with God. God can handle when you want to spend time with him because he's available always. Watch this. We limit where God can spend time with us, but he doesn't limit where we can spend time with him. We say, God, I tell you what, I'm going to give you this time and this hour, and I'm going to go to church. I'll do that. And God's like, really? You can be with me all the time. When I was in college, I remember I went back to study to be a pastor, and I remember one of my first classes. I remember this story as clear as everything because I just remember the story was so crazy to me. The professor was talking to us about spending time with God, and he told the story of this man named Simon the Stylite. You can Google this up later if you want to. Simon the Stylite. That was his name, S-T-Y-L-I-G-H-T. He was a monk who decided he wanted to spend all of his time with God. So this is what he did. True story. It became a phenomenon. There became many Stylites who followed him. And I remember in class listening going, it's crazy. This guy built, and it's perfect, we have this little sample here because we're going to multiply it 50 times, okay? He built a 50-foot pole, ready? A 50-foot pole, went all the way up there above the ceiling right there. 50 feet, it'd be higher than that. He built a 50-foot pole. At the top of the 50-foot, can't even say it, 50-foot pole, he put a 11 by 11 square, and he stuck it on top. This is round, but he built a square like this. He had himself hoisted up to it. I have no idea how. He got himself hoisted up there, and he lived there, you ready, day and night for over 30 years. He became very famous. He said he wanted to be where he could only be with God. He said, I don't want to be tempted. I don't want to lust. I don't want to see women and that kind of thing. So he built this thing, and he put himself up there. And I remember listening going, well, that's admirable, I guess. But I remember, maybe I'm the only one who had these thoughts, but I was sitting in class going, where'd he go to the bathroom? I mean, all these things just started coming to my head. That's just the way my mind works. I'm like, where are you getting your food from, man? His mother died when he had been up there for a long, long time. He asked and yelled down, will you just walk her casket near me so I can see her casket? He never came down. Lived his entire life, died up there on top of that pole. I think for some of us, when I say I want you to spend time with God, your mind goes there. Well, I got to erect this big pole, and I got to get up on top, and I can't do anything else. All I can do and sometimes I'm going to try this. I think we like, well, I'll do this, and then I'll stand this one little spot. God, do you see me? And God's like, can you stop? Can you stop trying so hard? Can you just invite me to go with you everywhere you go? Can you get down off that thinking like that and just know when you're walking around living life, I'm here with you? Like Dan, when you get in your rental car today to drive back to Knoxville to get the airplane, I'm with you. My Holy Spirit, I promised it to be with you on this earth. In the book of John, he says, I left the Parakletos, the Holy Spirit. He's with us all. Like you guys aren't going to leave the service and go, oh, good, got my God stuff done for the day. No, God's like, will you not treat me that way? I want you to spend time with me. What does it look like? Whatever works best for you. For some of you, honestly, for many of you coming in and worshiping, I enjoy worship too, but it's not the place I feel closest to God. I'm just being honest with you. For some of you who come to worship, you go, man, I see people, let all things right, and they're into it, and I'm over here going, when's the preaching coming? Because I'm not really a worship kind of person. And you feel guilty about that. Stop. Enjoy letting everyone else worship. See that, be a part of that. But if God speaks to you best riding on the motorcycle through the mountains, go ride on a motorcycle through the mountains and spend time with your Savior. He's there too. He's everywhere. Spend time with Him. Look at His Word. You say, I don't know where to read. Start reading in the Gospels. Read the story of the life of Jesus. Just read the stories. They're amazing stories. You'll love them. Read one a day. Just a little story about Jesus' life. It's not so hard. Don't make it hard. Don't make spending time with God hard, because when you do that, you have a negative thought thinking about spending time with Him. And He's like, I don't have a negative thought thinking about spending time with you because I made you and I want to hang out with you. It'd be like you have with your children. You know what that's like. When you want to hang out with your son, your teenage son, and he's 16 and he goes, I really don't want to hang out. You go, man, I just want to spend time with you. And we're sometimes like that with God. He's just saying, hang out with me. And you get to define. You don't have to make yours look like mine. Just do whatever draws you close to Him. You say, all this sounds good, Dan. I don't understand. Just seek Him. Today when you leave, just talk to Him a little bit. Say, God, I want to do that. I want to be with you more. Because let me tell you something. If you make effort to spend time with God, His Word says that will not return void. You've made effort, like with my dad. I've tried to change him in the past. I've said, Dad, what you got to get is I travel around the country and I speak. And so what it is, the Lord has blessed that. And Dad, I travel to a lot of different states, and it's really cool. I wish you could see it. But do any of them churches offer you a job? It returns void. I never finish that conversation and go, now I'm lifted up. But every time I spend time with God, my Creator, I walk away from that going, I'm good. Always lifts me. God doesn't have time He spends with you and you finish and you go, well, that was a waste. Because God doesn't return time with you void. People do. Isn't it funny? We still chase that people stuff. Some of you in your marriage relationship, you're trying to find value in your spouse. It's not working. If Jane tries to find fulfillment in me, she is going to fail because I will not always fulfill her. God will. And that's repurposing myself to see that my value is found because God made me. But the third thing you got to do, and this is really big, as soon as it comes up on the screen, you go, preachers, preach. That's what they say. I'm going to ask you again to maybe read this line for the very first time. I want you to trust God completely. And most of you say, I do, Dan. I got a bumper sticker that says that. Do you? Do you really trust Him? I'm going to tell you why we don't. You ready? I'm going to tell you why we don't. I'm going to tell you that way by telling you a story. I got a granddaughter. Her name is Naya. And Naya is 4. I love little Naya. I call her Nybird. She is a nonstop talker. That's just who Naya is. She talks. She gasps in between sentences to get breath. She makes enough noise in between sentences that you can't get a word in. That's just the way she talks. Papa, you going to come over and see my house? I'd love you. Come over and see my house. She had a little sound in there. Jane and I laugh at her because she just doesn't stop talking. So she's 4, and Jane decided this year she goes down to see her sisters once a year, go to Myrtle Beach. The sisters all hang out together. So Jane wanted to go down to Myrtle Beach like she normally does, and some of her sisters bring their grandchildren, so Jane thought, hey, I'm going to take Naya. And I was like, I think that's a great idea. So she asked Naya, yes, grandmother, I'd like to go to the beach. I want to go play. I mean, this will be great. And we went to the airport. I dropped Jane and Naya off, said bye-bye. Her mom was there and brother was there, so they all said bye. It was wonderful. Naya's having a ball till she got down there. She got down there and started missing her mom. She didn't understand the concept of, well, let's go back home, Grandma. Grandma's like, we can't, baby. We're in Myrtle Beach. I know, but let's go see Mom. I want to go see Mom. We're not going home for a week. Naya lost it, burst into tears, crying her eyes out. Jane can't get her to stop. Jane FaceTimes me, honey, can you help me? Can you talk to Naya? She's losing it. I can't get her to stop crying. So I said, hand the phone to Naya. So I'm hey, Naya, hey, Papa, come get me. Like, Naya, we can't come get you. You've been there one day. You only have 6 left. But I wanted to tell you it's going to be okay. And guess what, Naya? Guess what Papa did? What, Papa? I said, I bought you something. And the way you get it is be really good for Grandma for 6 more days. Oh, okay, Papa, what did you buy me? I said, honey, you're going to love it. I bought you a brand new Barbie car. Now, let me play this out. I had purchased her a Barbie car. Y'all already, you parents of younger kids know already, you know what she got in her mind, right? That big Jeep thing cost $400. I didn't buy that. 94-cent Walmart. She thinks I bought her a Barbie car. In her mind, oh my goodness, she's got neighborhood friends. They're all going to be in there. When I get home, we're going to be riding around. Okay, Papa. That's really nice of you, but I'll be good for Grandma. Good job, Naya. So let's play the scenario out. We get to the end of the week, and she's changed it and been good for Grandma. Thank you. You can finish the sermon. Y'all know where this is going. She got off that plane and she's running down the tarmac because she sees Papa, and she gets right to me and she jumps in my arm. Papa, Papa, where's the Barbie car? And I said, oh, I got it with me now. And she goes, where? And I said, right here. I pulled it out. I cut up with I'm fun with my grandkids. She holds it in her hand. She goes, you are so funny. I know. She said, I know it's out in the car. I know you got it in the trunk, Papa. I'm like, it had not hit me until this moment. And I go, no, it's not, Naya. No, this really is the Barbie car. Papa, you are so good. I said, Jane looks at me. I said, this is not going to end good. I said, she thinks I got her. And Jane's like, this is called, you ready? Unmet expectations. Some of y'all have them in your marriage. Some of you have them at your workplace. Some of you have it. And when we have them, you know what we do? We don't realize we do it, but we go, boy, God, that wasn't what I thought you were going to make for me. When I got married, I wasn't planning on this. And this one looks used. And so because we feel like, watch this, we feel like God let us down, now we don't trust Him completely. We don't realize that sometimes taking you back there in the back shadows is part of the plan to get you deeper. Your purpose on this earth isn't about you getting really happy with big old Barbie cars. Your purpose on this earth is to bring honor and glory to God. That's why you're on this earth. In any and every situation. This morning with your situation, I'm asking you to give it to the Lord and say, Lord, I'm sorry I got that out of whack. I put myself back in proper order. Sorry I wanted the big four-wheel $500 Barbie car in my mind. I was shooting for the wrong purpose and place. I accept whatever you give me because I believe that you know best for me even better than I know myself. This is a big statement when we say I trust God completely. So Lord, this morning, I'm going to pray over all of our campuses that those who are listening would apply this wherever it fits in any and every situation. I pray your name would be glorified. I pray as we honor you by leaving this place more determined to find our purpose and value in you, that you would watch over us, you would help us. May today be a day where we take a new step in completely trusting you. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.